This is Image City Photography Gallery's show called Driven to Abstraction, featuring the photography of gallery partner Betsy Phillips. We ask each of our guest photographers to tell us a bit about what they'll be showing with us, and here they are. Here to talk about the new monthly photo competition format at Camera Rochester is Dennis Adams.
They really are getting better. This idea of praising the good points in the images and forgetting about any negative comments at all. Although this, on average, the scores are going down because the judges are scoring honestly. Whereas in the past, some judges said, well, I want to encourage people, so I gave them higher scores. Well, you know, we think that just encourages them to do the same thing instead of getting better, you know? So I'm really glad to see the average scores dropping to a more reasonable level. And
that makes sense. You know, it really does.
Yeah. But you'd think it makes so much sense. And yet, when we just lay out the bare facts and say, well, we don't allow negative comments, people say, you're nuts.
Yeah, I wouldn't think that would work. My first impression was, well, gee, you need to talk about what's wrong with it too, but maybe not. You know, maybe if it's working and the people are responding well to it, that's great.
Yeah. Well, and if you phrase it in a positive way and you say, well, you know, I think this would be stronger if you saturated the colors a little less, or if you took out some of the extraneous detail in the edges. But, you know, that's just my opinion. And not that, oh, you should do this.
Here's one of our guest photographers, David Brach. David, what are you showing with us this time?
Okay, what I'm going to show this time is a little unusual for me. I'm going to be showing a series of images on wildlife, mostly in this case, our avian friend's bird.
Dave, tell me about the photograph of the heron that looks to be screaming at the sky.
No, the great blue heron, looks like he was perched high in a tree in the middle of an island, in the middle of literally nowhere, in the middle of Iroquois Natural Wildlife Preserve. It was just standing there, basically drying out, absorbing the sun and enjoying himself. And I happened to have a camera focused on him at the time and managed to snap a couple of pictures. I thought it would last for a fraction of a second, but he stood there for probably 5 minutes like that, just giving an oration to the crowd and having a ball.
He looked like he was, these people that are getting their emotions out about the politics by screaming at the sky.
No, he actually seemed rather happy. I mean, one of the things I've enjoyed about photographing wildlife is just sometimes I just put the camera down and watch, because it's pretty amazing what they're able to do and what they enjoy doing.
Here to talk about his photographs that he'll be showing with us is Dennis Adams. Dennis, tell me, what are you up to this month?
They're heavily massaged to appear to be oil paintings, and they're all based on photos I took in Australia in January and February this year. And they're printed on canvas. So if you don't look really closely, you can be fooled.
You know, most people up here go to Florida for the winter. You decided to go all the way to Australia, huh? I mean, it works. It's nice that you have family down there, though.
Yeah. If I went to Florida, there's nobody I know there. And, you know, generally when I'm in Australia, I'm living by myself in this smallish apartment. And this is on my daughter's property. And we get together for meals, and sometimes we go into town for a beer, and just generally, you know, we have a good time, but we don't spend all our time with each other. And a lot of the day is just very quiet time when I'm with myself. So I start thinking these more abstract thoughts. And then I come up with things that seem to reflect those ideas.
One of our guest photographers is Kevin Tubiolo. Kevin, what will you be showing with us?
I didn't plan on having a theme. I guess I kind of have like a landscape theme. I started off with the high fall sunrise photo, um, and then I have a couple of metal prints that I presented. One is a sunrise that I shot on Durand Beach. It's just a beautiful photo. And then I shot the Freddie Sue Bridge downtown with the city lights, over the river, and that really came out nice too. Um, and then I have another photo in there, the sand patch on at Show Place. It's a photo that I actually entered into the Erie Canal photo contest this year. Yeah, I won first place in the on the water category for the Erie Canal photo contest, and it'll be in their the Erie Canal calendar for 2021.
Kevin, tell me about the photograph you call Sunrise at High Falls.
That was just something that I've shown in other shows, but it's always been one of the photos that when I enter a show and um, they ask for samples of my work, I usually include that because I think that's one of my favorite photos.
Here's our visiting artist, Laura Connect. Laura, what are you showing with us this time?
Yeah, I mean, I love abstracts. It just so happened that I wanted to use the big wall instead of, so I thought the abstracts would look great on the big wall. And it just turned out that November was Betsy's show. So it's going to be abstracts on top of abstracts. I kind of all over the map, got eight photos and tried to make a selection where they were all pretty different colors, different textures, just different looks.
Laura, tell me about the photograph you call So Blue.
I was in the South Wedge and I was passing a phone booth. I don't think the phone was working, but there was still a phone booth there. And something caught my eye, and it was a tattered, weathered, flyer that somebody had glued up on the phone booth glass 5 years ago. So it was very deteriorated, but it had great colors and shapes and textures. So I took a photo of it, and So Blue is actually, just a portion of the flyer. But I thought it came out extremely cool.
Here's guest photographer Lisa Cook to tell us about the photos she'll be showing with us.
I have 8 images and they're all black and white. They were all taken during the pandemic time. I've been really isolating, so I mostly have been walking around the neighborhood, and all through the spring and the summer and now in the fall, just walking around and seeing things that I was really missing before because I was on my way somewhere or I didn't walk there. So a lot of people did a lot of gardening because they were home, and there seemed to be hosta plants everywhere and they were just growing gloriously. So I kind of concentrated on the hostas, and I got compositions out of the lines and the curves, and sometimes they almost look like landscapes. Some of the images I have layered and brought certain bits of one image through and combined them, and they have this one in particular that's in the preview also has a statue in it, and that didn't come from my neighborhood, but that's the only thing. And
is that the one you're talking about? You call Mysteries of Thought and Nature? Is that the
yes,
one?
that's the one. Yeah. So that's
Tell
about.
me about that.
Well, that is a combination of 3, maybe 4 images. I have certain memories that keep popping up and weird dreams, and I made this image so that the images below would pop up here and there. Beyond that, really, I don't give it any special meaning because I'd like the people that look at it to find their own meaning in it. But I worked it for a while until it seemed to have a certain presence about it. And it wasn't anything that I could articulate, but I like doing things like this. And then later on, people respond to it. And I might see, oh yeah, that was kind of what I was thinking about. But
Is that a statue on a grave?
that is from Mount Hope. Yes.
It is from Mount Hope, yeah, because
Yep.
it looks like a girl's hands in the Bible or something.
In the book in her lap. Yeah. Well, I really was thinking of shooting people. And then I thought, well, statues, you know? So I was just looking for statues that had something in them. And I like the hands. And I went around shooting quite a few hands in the cemetery. We got a great collection of sculpture there. Not all of them are as elegant. You know, some of them are a little dysmorphic. This one I liked.
That one is good. They've got a lot. Mount Hope is one of the most interesting places. I can't go to. I love to go over there and driving around
Yeah.
and it's kind of nice because you're in a park and you don't have to worry about people trying to get around you.
One of our guest photographers is Stephanie Morrow. Stephanie, what will you be showing with us?
The theme is my playground, and I had honestly forgotten that it was abstract work that was showing, but I wanted to do something called my playground because I'm thinking about COVID, as a lot of people are right now, and so I think, and I named that particular image Escape, because I think escape is what a lot of people would really like to do right now. And so that's sort of what the theme of my show is going to be, is escape, places, places that take me someplace else that's not necessarily in the realm of where I am right now, but images that I look at and they take me someplace else. It may not necessarily be a happy place, but it's a better place, or it's a different place, or it's a surreal place, but it's not here.
When it comes to the type of processing, the treatment that you did on that image, the post-processing, I'm not familiar with what you did there. What type of post-processing did you use?
Yeah, I just use what is on my iMac. Honestly, I don't use Photoshop or any of those programs. So I just used a lot of color bending on it to get what you saw. Absolutely.
Tell me,
crazy.
on that photograph you call Escape, it looks like the train is in the station and it looks like there's some type of a stop on the rails there. Is I'm not sure what's going on there exactly. Why do you refer to it as Escape? Is because everybody is empty, the platform is empty and they're all on the train leaving? Is that where the
yeah, basically that was exactly it, that the train is leaving, and don't I wish that I was also kind of on that train.